Really interesting perspective, and I want to chat about this for a sec about it being such a great time to be a creative because and it was maybe it kind of triggered some thoughts in me, and I want to discuss this. It's really interesting because I agree. I had a thought process that you kind of changed my mind on. I was like I would have agreed with you that it was a really great time to be a creative during this whole pandemic thing, and now like in America, I'm seeing like for example YouTube views go down because everybody's going back to work. Everybody, schools are open again, and they're going back to school. They're not online. Work is open again. They're going back, but it's interesting because like, and I've know now that it's kind of clicking because I've spoken to a lot of people in a lot of different countries. You guys are still on a pretty big lockdown, so
Yes.
it's interesting to see people's perspective. And it's almost like, for example, like my YouTube viewership, I think 27% is from the U.S., but like the next tier down is the Philippines at 12% of my
Wow.
total viewership. So it's interesting to some degree, almost like where is your like adapting with the times, like kind of like you said of just like it's a great time to be a creative, like it and almost, and I'm just kind of a light bulb just went off in my head, so I wanted to share it. Like it's
Yeah.
like focus. There's opportunity out there, just figure out where it is,
Yes.
and like
Yeah.
while maybe it's not in America for some artists because people aren't as interested online anymore. But in
Mm.
the Philippines or in Australia, there's a lot of people still at home and online,
Mm.
and I don't know, how can you tap into those markets? That's a really interesting perspective that you totally just blew my mind on, man. So thank you for that,
Yeah.
because I needed that encouragement.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And this is something that I always tell like my team or any other creative not here in the Philippines is that whatever you like just put out whatever like because whatever you put out it somehow goes back to you. Um you can put out your own aesthetic, you can put out your own how you think or how you can be creative, for example like with your photos, how you tell your stories to your IG stories, even just IG stories, like if it's fun, if it's you and stuff like that, because people really are online, even here in the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's crazy here in the Philippines, just because everything is just adapted to all the platforms. For example, because right now I'm trying to enter like I'm trying to break through into the ad industry, and now that whenever we create an ad, it's not just for like a certain aspect ratio. It adapts into all these other
Mm-hmm.
platforms like verticals, 4x3s, 6 seconders and stuff like that. And for me, that's already a testament that says, hey, everyone's online, and we want to tap everyone.
Yeah.
All these ad opportunities, we want to tap everyone. So for me, as a person like as an individual who creates, that challenges me because hey, there's a lot of content out there, but you can always stand out like with your own aesthetic,
100%.
and yeah, and if it's your voice, if you want your voice to be out there, just be authentic about it and people will discover you.
Preach.
because
Come on.
because like yeah, because like 12 months from now, I didn't know that I had a voice. I didn't
Mm.
know that my aesthetic would be something that people would like or something people would appreciate, just because I didn't put any other content. Because I've been putting out content in my personal, and even like that Air Asia thing, that airline thing. I was just putting out, bro. I was just putting out like my personal travel videos, not even like thinking that an airline would appreciate it and would tap me.
That's how they
So it
saw
was
you.
just yeah, that's how they saw
Wow.
me on
Wow.
Instagram. On
Wow.
Instagram,
Mm.
I just use a hashtag and stuff like that. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's because I can say that because I experienced that. Like, hey, I just put out content, and I just did it for myself at first, right? And then I didn't know that I had a voice. I didn't know that I had, that people appreciated. But yeah, if you don't put out content, then you won't have a chance. You would
Come
have
on,
zero
bro.
chance to be
You
discovered.
are reiterating everything that I've said on this channel 1,000 times. So I'm so happy that you are saying this because it's so, so true. And that's why I talk about all the time. I'm from the mentality of two mentalities. One, that quality of work comes with quantity of
Mm,
work.
yes.
That the more you put out, the more you learn, the more better you
Yes.
become.
Yeah.
And if you just work something to death, you're not really gonna learn from it because like you already know all the things that you're not gonna discover
Yes.
anything new. And second of all, like one thing may so for example, one video you might have done might connect with person A, and the next
Yes.
video might not, but it'll connect with person B. And it's just you
Yes.
never ever know, man. Like what would have happened hypothetically, right? If you didn't put that last video out that AirAsia didn't see. Well, you none of this would have happened. You never stinking know that if you're one video, one song, one post, one TikTok, whatever the case is, away from wherever you're supposed to be. Man, I love it. And the funny thing is, like, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. You never know. Some of the best things you've probably thought were the best, like, or at least in my life, I've seen like, oh, this. I'm like, this song is so good, and I put it out, and people are like, yeah, cool. And then others, I'm like, this song's decent. And people are like, yeah, we love this. You just never know. But had I not put that song that I thought was decent out, like, I would have missed that opportunity. Man, we're on the same wavelength, man. I love it. I love it. That's so cool.